The level of cognitive dissonance for black conservatives, especially black MAGA, is insane.
So you think we're better off as black people now than we were before LBJ passed those policies?
Yes, brother, we can vote without the threat of violence. Are you talking about the Civil Rights Act of 1964? Is that what you're describing as a negative thing?
I'm not saying the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was, I'm talking about...
That's LBJ, I just want to be clear. That's LBJ who you said, were we better off before LBJ? LBJ signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
I'm talking about it like this. I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery.
What? Bro, what are you talking about, man?
All right, so every time I come to an area that's nice, the thing that they have in common is that there are like no black people around, and I am dead serious about that. And I know that people are not going to like me, you're going to be talking crap about it, whatever. This is the reality of the situation. I'm in Boston for work right now. I'm at the waterfront or seaport or whatever it is. And I was just walking around. It's nice. It obviously looks expensive. There's nice restaurants. Everybody's just chilling, like families. Just everybody is acting normal. And I'm just like, oh my God, there are like no black people here.
You know, Robert, any boy can make a baby, but it takes a real man. Shut the fuck up. I'm sick of this shit.
To be honest, I don't want to live in the United States of America if it's not majority white. So I understand the fear of white people wanting to live in a country that's majority non-white. I understand that fear wholeheartedly.
Stop it. Get some help. MAGA family, I was on TikTok Live, and a fellow Trump supporter said that all he needed was my vote. I'll never be part of the MAGA family, and that I'm black, I'll never be accepted, but he just got my vote. Nah, that's crazy. Like, I love MAGA Nation, I love the MAGA family, and that breaks my heart that someone would speak to me like that right after the election, that all I was a vote? Nah, I love all you guys, and I know most of you MAGA family members are not racist, and I love you guys, and I'll keep repping MAGA Nation, Trump 2024, but that really broke my heart that some guy would say that. Extremely heartbroken.
Bro is deep in that sunken place. But let's be real, these black MAGA influencers are nothing more than useful idiots and props for the right. They get promoted for their ridiculous take shitting on the black community, while their views are often shared with a wider audience that largely agree with their sentiments but can't say it because of their skin color. Meanwhile, these token blacks can be their vehicle to hate on black people, and we're seeing more grifters than ever gravitate to the right because it increases their views, influence, and income, while criticizing and hating on a community that they likely have no connection to in the first place. And all of these black MAGA influencers are just exhausted. But I'm Jude, welcome to the channel. Please like and share the video. Don't forget to sub. Now, let's get into it.
I'm not gonna lie to y'all, I am very new to this political thing. I just learned out what a conservative was. I just learned out what a liberal is. Bear with me. I was seeing some people in my comments talking about, you're pushing far left agenda. I'm like, what are you talking about? I'm just pro-black. Anything that helps my people, I'm supporting it.
Yeah, exactly. What did Issa Rae say?
Who are you rooting for tonight?
I'm rooting for everybody black.
And as I was doing research, I did note that like some of the left ideas like agree with what I'm saying, and the conservative ideas is just like, it ain't got nothing to do with pro-blackness, so no.
I think it's super dope that young people, especially right now, we're getting back into politics. I know for millennials, especially around the Bush era, Fahrenheit 9/11, all that type of stuff, we were like super heavy into politics, vote now. I think the peak of all of that was Obama getting elected. And then I don't really know about generations after millennials, like how involved they are with the voting process, how educated they are, what history do they know on both sides of political parties. But of course, right now is the perfect time for everybody to do their research and get caught up on politics, especially with midterms coming up and then a huge election coming up after that.
And one thing that I've noticed is that if you're a black person and you're a conservative and you make videos degrading black folks,
absolutely. If you have a platform and you have brown skin and you're willing to shit on or always throw the black community under the bus to support whatever political ideals that you have, you are going to get big views. So many people on the right gravitate toward that type of content because it reinforces their biases and what they believe about black stereotypes without them having to feel racist because black people are saying. So that's why you get people like Candace Owens, Officer Tatum, the Hodge twins, Myron, Rob Smith, that end up having a primarily right fan base because they are supporting and reinforcing those same right-wing talking points about the black community. It's big bucks in it.
You think the CIA planted drugs in our communities?
They didn't make you sell it.
Do you think they...
No, I agree. I've read stories of how
black
the CIA,
businesses? Do you know what Black Hollywood is?
Let's go one at a time. I've heard stories that the CIA planted drugs in the inner city communities. Not every black community, but in some. They still don't make you go and sell drugs to your brother.
you didn't have to sell it. I mean, he is right. I ain't gonna lie. All jokes aside, man, desperation makes you do crazy things. When there's no jobs in the neighborhood, everything's run down to the ground, the government redlined the area, desperate times calls for desperate measures.
I hate when people act like systematic racism isn't a thing. If you go back to World War II, Vietnam, there were black men that served, that came back that couldn't get VA loans, that weren't able to buy a home, where their counterparts were able to buy a home and build wealth through the years, through the decades, that they were able to pass down to their kids and their kids' kids and their kids' kids, and it continues to this day. So that is 100% an example of systematic racism. Or like bro said, redlining, where black people were told where they could and couldn't buy houses, which meant that they were forced to buy houses in certain communities whose property values wouldn't go up, while their counterparts across towns' property values were able to go up. Again, more wealth that's generated, that's passed down through the generations until we get to this point now. And that's not even talking about black communities being underfunded or schools not being funded, and how people get into those economic situations where they do see drugs as their only option. There's so much context that Officer Tatum didn't address that goes with that answer. And because systematic racism oppression is never addressed, or we don't like to talk about it, or happened in the past, or if you bring it up, black people are crying, that's how there's never progress on the subject. Society loves to address the symptom, which is people selling drugs or acting however, but never the cause, which is how they were put in that position in the first place. If a doctor is trying to cure whatever illness, they don't treat the symptoms, they treat the cause, which stops the symptoms. But society just refuses to do that when it comes to the black community.
As evil as tempting people like that. Like, it's like tempting a person that's starving with a little bit of bread. Like, they're going to get it.
Whites are more likely to commit crimes against children. Whites are more likely to commit crimes against co-workers. Whites are more likely to commit crimes against individuals who are inside of their families. Now, that is also from FBI.gov, but are you using that as a pretext? Are you using that as a pretext to follow all white people and think that they are child molesters or about to commit a crime against
You're trying to, the FBI statistics are on conviction rates. The FBI homicide statistics.
No, it is not, brother. You need to read damn
people
stats.
can go out and do the research.
Not based on conviction rates,
People can go out and do the research for themselves.
They sure
the
can.
Research that I've seen, the homicide rates, you could call it the murder or homicide rates, depending on how you want to frame it, are convictions. So
So as you can see, he's just following up the racist, white supremacist ideology that black people commit more crime. I've already did a video on this topic, but I'm going to leave the article down below where you can see that it says arrest, not convictions. It's crazy that he has this huge platform but can't do the proper research to see that his fallacy is wrong.
But Officer Tatum and other black MAGA influencers like him aren't worried about doing proper research or giving proper statistics or giving the contextual background of how certain things came into existence. What they're worried about is propagating a narrative and negative stereotypes about black people, because that's what their audience wants to hear and that's how they get paid. It's about whatever right-wing narrative they can continue to spew, which is mostly bullshit.
Now we off Tatum, man. It's time to move on to the next raccoon. Rob Smith. Now off the bat, look, don't tell me I'm lying. He looked just like Tom from the Boondocks.
I said that in my Hodge Twins video about Rob Smith. Bro is the walking, talking, real-life version of Tom from the Boondocks.
Black fatigue is real. Everybody is tired of black people, but it's two specific types of black people that everyone is tired of. Number one, everybody is tired of loud, ghetto, and ratchet, and violent, and mean, and angry all the time. Everybody is tired of them. Nobody wants to deal with them. Even other black people do not want to deal with these people. You know when you see them in public, you know when they're gonna give you attitude at the CVS. Everybody knows it and they want to avoid it. The second group of black people that everybody is tired of is this sort of like fake black bougie intelligentsia who kind of like walks around telling everybody how they're supposed to think or
anytime I see a black person making black fatigue videos, it just screams pick me.
Absolute same, bro. I hate any black person buying into black fatigue narratives, because that's a narrative that certain people are pushing to intentionally drive a wedge between black people.
For one, that is not what black fatigue means. Even if you acted like a black person and not an N-word, they would still view you the same.
Bro was 100% correct, and I said this in my other video about Myron. The same people that people like Rob Smith, Officer Tatum, the Hodge Twins are kissing up to and trying to be like, which is the white community, do not accept them. They're using them as a prop to talk about black people and to talk down on black people, but they don't really want them in their community, and they don't want them to be a part of the America they're building.
Myron, you were in MySpace the other day, and I said, you know, you're doing a great job calling these, but you know, if we take this country back, we want it for white folks. And would you go home? And you said, I was born here and I'm not going anywhere. And this is where I think the problem is with working with non-whites is that once you think you help us, that you're just going to stay in our country. Do you still stand with that answer?
Bro, you look, man, I know you're trying to get a culpable moment here for your...
No, it's the truth, man. This is the issue with whites working with non-whites.
About a problem. We're over here talking about a problem, then you bring it right back into, you know, this whole white thing. Like, dude, shut the fuck up.
This whole white thing is what built this country, Myron.
Shut the fuck up, dude.
Hey, you Sander.
Out this video right here of Rob, bro. This is what the people he support did to him.
Yes, Nick Fuentes loves gay sex. No,
he doesn't.
America first! America first! America first! America!
The people that he swears up and down are on his side or are not racist turned against him real quick, being real racist.
These white supremacists absolutely do exist in this party. We all saw me face them from face to face. I'm looking at soulless, dead-eyed white supremacists that, by the way, I felt that these people could have bashed my brains in had they gotten the chance.
You see what I mean, bro? If you're black, it don't matter. You could be conservative all you want. They still look at you as a nigga. We're gonna move on from Rob, man. Hopefully this situation woke him up. It didn't, by the way. He's still making videos trashing black folks.
People like Rob really think they're the exception and that they're gonna be welcome into a community that no other black people are welcome into. At the end of the day, people that don't like black people don't like you, no matter how you enunciate your words. You will never be accepted into these right-wing MAGA communities, just like bro crying about it, or Rob getting his own wake-up call.
The next set of conservatives I want to talk about are the Hodge twins. And man, bro, I used to really watch their content when I was young, and I would have never thought they turned out this way. And if we're being honest, I always felt that they would like pivot to maybe doing movies or just doing something big because they always had that personality. Maybe around like 2016, 17, I believe once Trump started running, they turned into full conservative YouTubers. They seen that them talking down on black folks brings in the cash.
Right, but it's not just that they're conservative YouTubers. The thing with all of these right-wing MAGA black influencers is that they build their careers off shitting on black people in the black community. It's like none of their principles or beliefs stand on their own without them shitting on black people. If you're a Republican or conservative because you believe in those policies, cool, good for you. Why do you have to shit on black people to make your points? And that's my biggest issue with all of these grifters. And there's a clip from a guy named TJ Talks that really says this best.
Why is it that when you ask some black folks on the Trump train why they support him, the first thing they do is trash black people? It's never about policy. It's not about strategy. It's black people are lazy. Y'all love being victims. Democrats keep y'all on the plantation. Really? Your support can't even stand on its own. It has to stand on the backs of your own people. You talk about free thinking, but all you're doing is repeating white conservative talking points that were never made for you, just marketed at you. You call it freedom, but it looks a lot like performance. And this whole colorblind thing, it's a lie. Because the moment y'all show up with Blacks for Trump shirts and photo ops, suddenly race matters again. Suddenly your blackness is useful as long as it's obedient. But when we talk about redlining, mass incarceration, underfunded schools, generational poverty, now you want to pretend none of this is real? See, you can support whoever you want, but if your support requires you to downplay or deny the truth of being black in America, then it's not support. It's submission. And here's the question you can't answer. What has Trump actually done for you? Not what has he said, not what has he promised. What has he done tangibly, specifically for you or our community? Oh, wait. Because while you're busy defending him, he's too busy defending January 6th criminals, calling for political revenge and protecting billionaires. He's not thinking about you.
Now, I know everybody heard about this situation of the all-white town in Arkansas. The Hodge twins did a reaction to it. This is what they had to say.
To be honest, I don't want to live in the United States of America if it's not majority white. Once it becomes majority non-white, it's Man, it's going to be a much different country. It's going to be a much different country. Well, that's just a fact. If you look at if you just look at voting statistics, how ethnicities other than white vote, this country would be totally different. So I understand the fear of white people wanting to live in a country that's majority non-white. I understand that fear wholeheartedly because I don't want to live in a country that's majority non-white because it would systematically change our country.
Hell yeah, America need to stay white. Yeah.
The Hodge twins are so wrong and so goofy. I'm gonna let myself from the past respond to that.
Man, it's gonna be a much different country. It's gonna be a much different country.
This is black people with a black mother and black grandmother saying this. Just disgusting. But on top of that, the last time that America was a majority white country was around the 1950s. So Hodge twins, y'all can go. Take your ass to Switzerland or something.
I understand that fear wholeheartedly because I don't want to live in a country that's majority non-white because it would systematically change our country.
Those same white conservatives that you're protecting or praising won't want you around in their old white country if they had it their way. They don't want you around either because you are black, whether you like it or not. I just don't understand how they never get that part of it.
Well, guess what, y'all? The Hodge twins hit up the owner on Twitter. He said, "Hey, Arville, I know your community is whites only, but could you make an exception for 2 Negroes? We're not even full sub-Saharan Look, I promise I'm not slow. We're not even full sub-Saharan. We're over 40% white." Y'all want to know what Arvo said? God bless the Hodge twins. But no.
It's just like Myron. You can do all the groundwork and grunt work you want, shitting on black people for them. At the end of the day, you're still not welcome into the world they want to build.
Listen, no matter how much you tap dance, you gonna still be a nigga. You could be in the house, but you still gonna be a nigga.
Better off as black people now than we were before LBJ passed those policies.
Yes, brother, we can vote without the threat of violence. Are you talking about the Civil Rights Act of 1964? Is that what you're describing as a negative thing?
I'm not saying the Civil Rights Act of 1964 was, I'm talking about...
That's LBJ, I just want to be clear. That's LBJ who you said, were we better off before LBJ? LBJ signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
I'm talking about the war on poverty.
I just want to answer that one. I want to answer that specific one first. Was the Civil Rights Act of 1964 bad thing?
I agree with the Civil Rights Act of 1964.
Thank you.
But at the same time, I'm also, put like this, I prefer dangerous freedom over peaceful slavery.
I'm gonna say it here. After watching his whole video, bro has the patience of a saint. All of the black MAGA dudes were talking like this. Nobody's addressing policies, nobody's addressing points, just talking around points and talking around topics without really saying how MAGA helps the black community. And he handled it real well throughout.
I don't know what that means.
I'd rather deal with the dangerous freedom of not knowing and controlling people with policies as much as possible versus the peaceful
Look at his face.
Slavery of being married and tied to the government.
Big shout out to the interviewer, man. I don't know how he held his composure. His name is Garrison Hayes, by the way. Amazing speaker, man. I want to get on his level one day, bro. Like, hey, he's the GOAT.
Again, shout out to Antonio for the video, but I actually want to go look at Garrison's video where he basically spent a week talking to all the black MAGA folks.
Given Trump's well-documented history of saying and doing racist things, I wanted to know how these black people could be drawn into Trump's political orbit. So I talked to Pastor Lorenzo Sewell.
Yeah, so anyone that wants to come to church, they're able to come.
This dude comes off like the biggest grifter. And people like him are why a lot of people have problems with church and church folk, because it comes across as so fake and so theatrical. And like, what principles are you actually standing on if you become a puppet for Trump?
Hey, pastor, I want to invite a friend to church who could be a racist.
He's the lead pastor at a black church in Detroit that Trump visited earlier this year. And he was also a featured speaker at the RNC.
So all my friends back in Detroit who are Democrat, I want to ask you just one simple question. You can't deny the power of God on this man's life. You can't deny that God protected him.
Nobody knew this dude before he started working with Trump. So you really have to imagine these guys are benefiting big time off being able to absorb Trump's audience and benefit monetarily off of it. They're getting the audience out of supporting Trump and throwing black people under the bus.
Why should black people support the Republican ticket and Donald Trump specifically?
That's a good question. You know, what I would say to any black person is this, specifically about the Republican platform. I would say, look, do your research, right? I would say, look back to 170 years ago in this state where a group of patriots stood up and they started that grand old party to stop the expansion of slavery. If a black person said, well, Pastor, Donald Trump is racist, the Republican Party is racist, well, let's play that theme out throughout history. Let's look at who was the party of slavery, who was the party of Jim Crow, right? Who's the party of the slave codes? Well, Those are Democrats. Let's have that conversation.
I hear them go to those talking points a lot, but in recent memory, it has been the Republican base that has enacted policies that have hurt black people in the black community as a whole. It hasn't been the Democrats.
When we look at Frederick Douglass, black Republican. So that's on the political side, why I believe that a black American should be willing to look at the Republican platform. Look at the Republican Party in terms of President Donald J. Trump. This is what I would say. Don't look at the man, look at the mission. Don't look at his past. Look at what your agenda is for your community in the future.
Conservatives are leading the charge to remove protections for voting rights, protections for maternal mortality, interventions in California, affirmative action, diversity, equity, and inclusion. These are all issues that pertain directly to the people that I know that you serve.
Not to mention, they're trying not to teach black history in schools or take away what black history really means. They're trying to rewrite or whitewash history by changing what the Smithsonian museums are allowed to teach or those narratives from there. It's a whole lot of problematic stuff that the Republican Party is doing, especially under Trump.
Why should they support the party behind the hindrance, the advancement of the very things that I know you stand for?
Sure. Black people that I know, that I represent, that I've had these conversations with, they don't want to be put in a position because they're black. There's not one black person I know.
That fake ass grifting smile is so annoying. Oh my God.
That would say to me, Lorenzo, I deserve this position because I'm black.
But I want to, but you know that that's not what DEI is. DEI is about fair hiring practices, opening up opportunity, like creating pathways, like.
But you're smart. You're an intelligent man. And those that would say this, I believe they're very intelligent. It costs more money not to hire the person who's the best than to be racist. It actually costs more money. So if you're the best at what you do.
This is so weird and manipulative. The problem with that is somebody that's qualified that's black may not even make it through the hiring process because people are pre-selected or selected on relationships, or it's who you know, not what you know. And if black people don't have those connections, they'll never even make it through the hiring process to be selected for a position that they're overqualified for.
The pathways are the problem. And a lot of what diversity, equity, and inclusion is doing is creating those and helping to clarify those pathways. And so framing it as an unqualified person getting the job when we know, you and I both know, that there are plenty of qualified black people or Latino people or women who don't end up with jobs.
100%. And I agree with you. I do think relationship.
I'm not going to go through the whole video because the pastor just talks around points and topics just to get to another point to kind of deflect whatever Garrison is talking about. But this whole video is dope. At the end of the day, they're grifters. And if they do actually believe any of the stuff they say, they have a really hard time articulating why Republican policies help black people as a whole. So shout out to Harrison and Antonio for both of their videos, which is dope. But thanks for watching. Y'all let me know what you think about all this in the comments. Also, make sure you check out the next video. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram for behind the scenes and life stuff. And I'll catch you next time. Peace.